Hello. Thank you so much for having me. This is a beautiful collection of beautiful souls here. There's a little bit of construction going on next door, so I apologize if there's some noise. And I'm really hoping there's no tech issues here because I live in the mountains in Oaxaca, and the Wi-Fi is pretty spotty, so let's just hope for the best. Um, so yeah, a little backstory on me and what I'm doing now and what led up to my current life. About 7 years ago, I was trapped in a really bad depression. Really at the end of my rope. Some things happened in life, divorce, my dad died. Life just took like a major shit on me and really sunk me. And it was really bad, like borderline suicidal. And I tried everything. I tried antidepressants. I tried therapy. I tried everything that was available for me, but nothing worked, and it just got worse and worse for almost a year. And then one day, I decided to eat magic mushrooms, psilocybin mushrooms, with my brother, and took a walk on the beach. And that day, in a matter of hours, the depression just disappeared. Um, Probably heard some of these stories by now. This was 7 years ago, so it wasn't quite as mainstream as it is now. So since that day, I started studying psychedelics, the science of psychedelics, how it works, combining that with philosophy, with exercise, with breath work and cold exposure, and a lot of physical things that I had done before. But combining these three things, really using the body, using the psychedelics to create neuroplasticity and like really rewrite the stories that we tell. Um, and combining these things together was so powerful. And so that's what led to, the writing of this book. Then the writing of this book brought me to Oaxaca to study the mushrooms and start working with shaman and curandera down here. Um, Went deeper into that practice. And so now I run retreats and sacred mushroom ceremonies here in the mountains, and I help other people heal their issues, everything from, major PTSD to uh, chronic stress, chronic anxiety, eating disorders, just like really the worst mental states that people suffer with. And so I've been doing that for the last several years now. And so that's what I teach. And this formula, it's so powerful because what we're doing is really going back to the basics and using nature, harnessing the power of nature, the wisdom and the cosmic intelligence and wisdom that lives in nature and in the body. And so, of course, the mushrooms are from nature, the first life form on Earth, the fungal kingdom. That combined with physical practices like breath work and heat exposure and cold exposure, exercise to really recalibrate the nervous system because fear is everything's a story. We're over 95% subconscious beings. So we don't really actually know exactly who we are until we really start to dive deep into these practices, whether it's through psychedelics or just meditation, yoga, just contemplating where your deepest fears come from, and a lot of people's fears sometimes are carried forward. It's ancestral. I've had plenty of ceremonies where people have these realizations that their lineage suffers from a certain phobia that they never had any direct experience with, and they just carry it forward through epigenetics, through the passing forward of these things that are adaptive, and evolutionarily we need to do that to hang on and remember the dangers that there are in life, right? So that gets compressed into the cells of our body, so we remember these things. So there's very few things powerful enough to allow us to tap into the subconscious and experience these phobias and experience these fears somatically through felt experience. It's not in the mind, it's in the body. Um, and so that's the basic formula that I work with now is harnessing and using the power of nature to get to know ourselves, get to know what our fears are, why we fear them. In this process, It's like a formula, a methodology. In this process, we again harness neuroplasticity. And so, that third pillar of philosophy, which I started studying Stoic philosophy as I was writing the book. And I just fell in love with it because it is a philosophy that teaches you some very profound but very simple to understand terms and writings on how to deal with stress. For me, it's the best philosophy specifically on how to deal with fear, how to deal with anxiety, how to deal with stress. Um, and in this process, then you rewrite the story. Then you tell yourself and you train yourself. So my whole like process is like training. And I've been an athlete my whole life, so I have that mentality, an athlete mentality of you retrain yourself and you increase your stress tolerance, you rewrite the story, you do the physical practices to increase your stress threshold, increase your stress tolerance, and that way you go into the day more calm, attacking it mentally, physically, and then of course using the power of nature. Um, so that's the methodology in a nutshell, that I of course dive into all the details and the science of it in the book. Um, but that's pretty much my approach on how to deal with fear.